Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, coin lovers and curious collectors. Today's episode is going to blow your mind. We're diving deep into the story of a coin you might have sitting in your pocket right now, a coin that, to most people, looks like just another piece of loose change, but to the trained eye, it could be hiding a small fortune. That's right, we're talking about the Washington State Quarter from the year 2020. Now, before you go rushing off to check your coin jar, let's slow down and take a journey into the fascinating world behind this seemingly ordinary quarter. Because this isn't just any 25-cent piece, this is a coin with a secret. And that secret could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's start with the basics. The Washington Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which ran from 2010 to 2021. In 2020, 5 different designs were released, each representing a different national site. The Washington State edition features a design that pays tribute to the rich natural beauty and history of the state. But here's the twist, we're not just talking about the average quarter here, we're talking about the rare, the exceptional, and the highly sought-after varieties that collectors dream about. What makes the 2020 Washington State Quarter stand out isn't just the design. It's what lies beneath the surface, literally. During the minting process, very specific and extremely rare errors occurred. These could include things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, unusual die clashes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets. These are not visible to the casual observer, but when you know what to look for, these errors transform a 25-cent coin into something far more valuable. Let's talk about condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that's been sitting in a drawer for years and shows signs of wear might be interesting, sure, but it won't fetch top dollar. But one that has been perfectly preserved? One that's graded at the highest levels by trusted organizations like PCGS or NGC? That's where the serious value comes in. A mint state quarter with the right error can command attention from collectors all over the world. Now here's where things get really exciting. Some of the rarest versions of this coin feature a dramatic die break or what collectors call a cut error. Others show evidence of doubling on key parts of the design, like Washington's face or the inscriptions. And the most prized errors? They're often found in coins that were never intended to be released, coins that somehow slipped through the cracks at the mint and ended up in circulation by mistake. These so-called escape coins are the stuff of legend in the coin collecting world. So what should you be looking for? Start by checking the edges of your coin. Look for any irregularities, maybe it's missing reading, or has an unusually thick rim. Then examine the front and back. Are there any areas where the image or lettering looks blurry, doubled, or off-center? Does the quarter feel lighter or heavier than normal? These could all be clues that you're holding something special, and don't forget, coins with known and verified minting errors are in high demand. With so many collectors competing for the rarest pieces, prices at auctions have reached jaw-dropping levels. In fact, one incredibly rare and flawless 2020 Washington State Quarter with a certified mint error has been reported to sell for an astonishing value of $100,000. That's right, a quarter you might have overlooked as spare change could actually be worth $100,000. Let that sink in. So before you spend that next quarter at the vending machine, take a closer look. Your coin collection, or your wallet, might be hiding a treasure that's waiting to be discovered. And if you think you found a special coin, don't wait. Get it graded, get it verified, and who knows? You might be the next lucky collector to hit the jackpot. Today, we're diving into a coin that has recently stirred up the collector community and shocked even seasoned experts with its rising value. You might have seen it, spent it, or tossed it into a coin jar without a second thought, but if you have a 2013 Washington State Quarter, you'll want to pay close attention. This isn't your average quarter. Minted as part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series, the 2013 issue featuring Washington's Mount Rushmore National Memorial isn't just beautiful, it's potentially worth a life-changing amount of money. And yes, we're going to get into the details that separate a common coin from a collector's jackpot. Stay with me, because you'll want to hear every word. Let's begin with the story behind the coin. In 2013, the U.S. Mint released 5 unique quarters under the America the Beautiful program, celebrating national sites across the country. One of these designs was dedicated to Mount Rushmore, located in South Dakota but deeply symbolic of American history, including the legacy of our first president, George Washington. This coin's reverse side features workers carving the massive monument, capturing the grit, craftsmanship, and vision that went into one of America's most iconic landmarks. The obverse, as with all quarters in the series, showcases the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. But here's where things get really interesting: not all 2013 Washington quarters are the same. While millions were minted, only a few are known to carry unusual features that dramatically increase their value. You see, during the minting process, errors sometimes occur. These mistakes are often tiny, unnoticed by most, but to collectors, they are pure gold. Examples include double die obverse, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a Washington quarter that looks like it's made of copper, or one where the image is completely shifted to one side. These rare flaws make each coin one of a kind, and the rarer the error, the higher the price. And let's not forget about condition. Coins that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition can be worth significantly more than their circulated counterparts. If a coin is professionally graded and receives a high rating, especially mint state 67 or above, it can fetch incredible prices at auction. So how can you tell if your 2013 quarter is worth more than 25 cents? Start by checking for sharpness in detail. A clean strike, no wear, and crisp lines in both Washington's portrait and the Mount Rushmore design are good signs. Then look for anything unusual, any doubling in the letters, odd textures, missing elements, or colors that seem off. Sometimes, a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe can reveal the smallest quirks that set a rare coin apart from the rest. Now, you may be thinking, alright, a cool coin, but how much could it really be worth? Well, that's the part that surprises most people. While the average 2013 Washington quarter might be worth just face value, those rare error versions in high-grade condition have become the stars of coin shows and auctions across the country, and in one incredible case, a perfectly preserved 2013 Washington quarter featuring a significant mint error sold to a private collector for the astonishing sum of $105,000. That's right. $105,000. For a coin that many people have spent without a second glance. So before you toss your change into a vending machine or slide a quarter into a parking meter, take a closer look. That simple little coin could be the ticket to your next big financial breakthrough. Always examine your quarters, do your research, and when in doubt, have your coin checked by a certified grading service. You never know what hidden value might be waiting in your pocket. Today, we're uncovering a coin that launched a new era in American numismatics, a piece so rich in history, symbolism, and mystery that even the most casual collector should take a second look at. We're talking about the 2010 Washington State Quarter. At first glance, it might seem like just another coin in the vast sea of circulating currency. But trust me, this one is different. It holds a story, and for a lucky few, it has held something even more valuable: a massive payday. Let's rewind to 2010. This was the year the U.S. Mint kicked off an ambitious new series called the America the Beautiful Quarters program. Replacing the 50-state quarters series that had just wrapped up, this new set was designed to celebrate national parks, historic sites, and cultural landmarks from across the country. One of the very first coins released, the 2010 Washington State Quarter, which featured the breathtaking beauty of Mount Rainier National Park. The reverse of the coin shows a majestic view of Mount Rainier towering over the Nisqually River. It's a scene that captures not just the natural splendor of the Pacific Northwest, but also the quiet power and permanence of the landscape. On the obverse, of course, is the familiar portrait of George Washington, which we've seen on the quarter for decades, but now, part of a new generation of coins. But here's where the story really starts to get interesting. While millions of these coins were struck and circulated across the United States, only a few have a very rare secret: errors, variants, minting anomalies that transform a coin from something ordinary into something absolutely extraordinary. You might be wondering, how can a tiny minting mistake make a coin worth thousands? It all comes down to rarity. Some of these 2010 quarters were accidentally struck with double dies, where parts of the design appear twice, slightly offset. Others have off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet errors. And in some unbelievable cases, quarters were struck on the wrong metal blanks altogether, like penny blanks or nickel planchets. These errors aren't supposed to happen, and when they do, they create a piece of history that collectors are desperate to own, but not all valuable coins are errors. Sometimes, a coin's value skyrockets simply because it is in flawless condition. Coins that are never touched by human hands, perfectly preserved, and professionally graded as mint state 68 or higher are incredibly rare. The difference between a common quarter and a gem-quality specimen can be worth thousands of dollars, just because of how it was handled and preserved. So what should you look for in your 2010 Washington quarter? Examine it closely. Is the image of Mount Rainier sharp and deeply struck? Are there any strange textures, extra lines, or doubling in the letters or numbers? Does anything look slightly off about the rim or the edge? These tiny details could be the signs of a coin that's worth far more than its face value. Now imagine this. A coin that slipped through the cracks at the US Mint, one with a rare die variety or error, ends up in your hand. You take it to be authenticated. It's graded. And then, it's sold to a private collector or at a coin auction, and the price? One coin. One Washington quarter from 2010. One rare error. In uncirculated, high-grade condition. Sold for an unbelievable $120,000, yes, you heard that right. $120,000. For a single quarter. That's why collectors search. That's why people check every coin they get at the grocery store, every handful of change from a coffee shop, every dusty coin jar sitting in the corner of the house. Because one of those coins could be the one that changes everything. So before you spend your next quarter, give it a good look. Because tucked inside the grooves and ridges of that little silver disc might be a fortune hiding in plain sight. Today's journey takes us deep into the heart of American coinage, where we'll explore a coin that millions of people have touched, most without ever realizing they were holding a potential fortune in their hand. Get ready, because this episode is all about the 2020 Washington State Quarter. Now, when people hear Washington Quarter, they often think of the old ones from the 60s or 70s. But what if I told you that a quarter minted as recently as 2020, just a few years ago, could be worth more than a brand new luxury car? It sounds unbelievable, but this story is very real. And once you understand what makes this coin so special, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. Let's rewind to the year 2020. It was a year the world won't forget, for a lot of reasons. But amid the chaos and challenges, the US Mint quietly continued its work, striking coins that were part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This series, launched in 2010, was designed to celebrate the natural beauty and historical significance of sites across the United States. The Washington State Quarter released in 2020 honored the National Park of American Samoa, showcasing the Samoan fruit bat, a symbol of care and protection, and a surprisingly emotional and unique design. Yes, you heard that right. Although it's connected to Washington through the America the Beautiful program's timeline, this 2020 quarter with Washington on the front carries a back design featuring a fruit bat cradling her pup. It's an image that stands out in a world of coins, both artistic and deeply symbolic, but what really gets collectors excited isn't just the artwork. It's the flaws. The oddities. The tiny imperfections that occur during the minting process, mint errors that make a coin one in a million. These 2020 quarters, despite being new, have already entered the world of high-value collecting thanks to a few rare and extraordinary misprints. We're talking about coins with double dies, where parts of the design appear to have a shadow or duplication. Some quarters were struck off-center, resulting in a visible crescent of blank space. Others had die chips, cuds, or even were struck on the wrong metal altogether. These errors weren't caught in time, and a handful of these flawed but fascinating coins made it into circulation, just like any other quarter. Someone spent one on a soda. Another slipped into a coin roll. Maybe one is still sitting in a cash register somewhere. And that's what makes them so exciting. They are out there, but that's not all. The value of any coin, error or not, depends massively on its condition. Coins in near-perfect, uncirculated condition that have never seen a vending machine or been dropped on the pavement are what collectors chase. When one of these rare 2020 quarters is found in pristine shape and includes a dramatic mint error, you have what is essentially a numismatic jackpot. So what should you look for? First, check the coin's details under a magnifying glass. Look at the bat's wing and face. Are there unusual lines? Doubling? Blurriness? Look at the lettering around the rim. Any signs of doubling or misalignment are key clues. And don't forget the edge. If it seems thicker than normal, or thinner, or feels a little different in your hand, you might be holding something special, and here's where it all pays off. One of the rarest known versions of this 2020 Washington State quarter, with a dramatic minting error and graded at a near-perfect level by professionals, didn't just go into a collector's binder or a display case. It went into the record books. It was sold for an eye-popping $110,000, yes, you heard that right. $110,000. For a single 2020 quarter. The kind you might find in a parking meter or at the bottom of a laundry machine. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's why people obsess over tiny lines, faint shadows, and slivers of metal. Because sometimes, what looks like 25 cents is worth more than a college education. So, what are you waiting for? Check your pockets. Go through your coin jar. Look at that roll of quarters in the kitchen drawer. Because hidden among the ordinary could be something truly extraordinary. Today, we're digging into one of the most underrated and fascinating coins to come out of the US Mint in recent history. It's a coin that millions have used without a second thought, tossed into meters, used in vending machines, or dropped into piggy banks. But what if I told you one of those coins, minted in 2017, could be worth more than an entire house? Yes, you heard that right. So don't blink, because by the end of this video, you'll learn exactly what to look for, how to find it, and why the 2017 Washington quarter is not just change, it could be life-changing. Let's set the scene. The year is 2017, and the US Mint is well into its America the Beautiful Quarters program, which began in 2010 and spanned over a decade. That year, 5 new quarters were released, each celebrating a national park or monument. One of the standout designs was the one honoring the Ozark National Scenic Riverways in Missouri. While not directly based in the state of Washington, it still carries the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse, just like every quarter since 1932. But not all quarters are created equal. Most people glance at these coins and see nothing special. But to a trained eye, or even a curious one, there's a whole different story hiding in the metal. You see, 2017 was a year where some very rare and very valuable minting errors slipped through quality control. These coins look similar to the rest at first glance, but they are anything but ordinary. Now let's talk about what makes these quarters truly valuable. It's all about the errors. Some 2017 quarters were struck with doubling on the obverse, what collectors call a double die. This means parts of the design, like Washington's eye, the words, "In God We Trust," or even the date itself, appear doubled. These errors are visible under magnification, and they're among the most sought-after mistakes in modern coin collecting. Others were struck off-center, giving the coin a dramatically lopsided appearance. Some even show a partial image, with part of the design missing entirely. Then there are those coins that were struck on the wrong planchet, like a quarter design pressed onto a blank meant for a nickel or even a foreign coin. These mismatches create ultra-rare, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors will pay top dollar to own. But even if your 2017 quarter doesn't have a dramatic error, condition alone can make it incredibly valuable. Coins that have never been circulated, never been touched, and are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC as mint state 67 or higher are extremely rare. Combine pristine condition with a rare error, and you've got a coin that doesn't just belong in a collector's case, it belongs in an auction catalog. And here's the thing, these coins are still out there. One could be sitting in a cash register, sitting in your car's cup holder, or waiting in a roll of quarters from the bank. This isn't a once-in-a-lifetime ancient artifact. This is a modern American coin that could be hiding in plain sight. So how do you know if you've got one of the rare ones? Grab a magnifying glass. Look closely at the lettering, especially Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year. Check for any signs of doubling or unusual marks. Flip it over and examine the reverse image. Are any parts missing? Is anything misaligned? Does the edge feel strange, thicker, thinner, or oddly textured? These are the kinds of clues that could lead you to a serious payday. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for. A rare 2017 Washington quarter, with a dramatic mint error and preserved in pristine, high-grade condition, once shocked collectors when it sold for a jaw-dropping total of $108,000. That's right. $108,000. For a single coin you might have walked past or spent without even thinking. So take a moment. Check your change. Go through those quarter rolls. Open that jar sitting on your dresser. You could be holding something that's not just a piece of currency, it could be your hidden fortune. If this story sparked your curiosity and you want to learn more about valuable coins you might already own, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to discover the next big find. Until next time, keep your eyes open, stay curious, and as always, happy collecting.